Hey everyone, welcome back to Rewired. And we are back here today with more guests talking to us about their experiences of our stroke episode and unraveling their perspectives, which brings our experiences in sync with clarity. Before I hand this baton to Rohit today, I would like to remind our listeners that our podcast Rewired is for brain stroke survivors and it is all about sharing our experiences, challenges, and how we overcame some of our fears and how this is still a work in progress. Go ahead, Rohit.
Thank you, Swathi, and a warm welcome to each one of you listening to us at Rewired. And in today's episode, we will not have one or two, but three first responders of Swathi when she had her stroke. And welcome to the episode, Rohit, Somali, and Harsha. Rohit, let's begin with me asking you a very basic question. When and where did you meet Swathi, and what were your first impressions when you met her?
Actually, I had applied to our workplace via job opening and I started interacting with Swathi online for the job, and then I met her during my interview when I came to Hyderabad.
Oh, great. I don't have to ask how well the interview well because you got the job. Right.
Yeah, anyway, later we were working in the same department, so we would interact every day. So yeah, now we have been working together for more than 2 years and it's been good so far. We have faced ups and downs, but it's all in good faith.
Ah, I see you smiling there, Somali. Did you also have an interview with Swathi? And when did you both cross paths?
Through my institute, I applied for this job and I met first time with Swathi ma'am in a call and I got the job.
Harsha, where and when did you come across Swathi for the first time?
I was just like a just colleague. Then we started in one particular segment, one department together. It's a new division, and everything was going smoothly only. But that since it's a new initiative, everyone is falling into stress.
So let's go back to the most important thing. I wanted to know how was Swati's health, how was her demeanor, and how was she just prior to the incident occurring?
In the time that I had been working with her, she had been okay. Nothing out of the ordinary. And prior to the incident, we were busy with work and it was a very hectic day. We were all tired because of the work. She looked fine. We really had no clue what was going to happen. Our whole focus was on the delivery of the project.
Okay. Yeah, like we also remember it happened on March 1st. And could you just give a brief on how March 1st itself was?
So as I mentioned, we were running towards project delivery, right? And we were around 5 days in and getting closer to the deadline. 1st March was just like 2 days before the main deadline. And there was a pressure from all over and so on. First, we were just trying to sort everything out.
Yeah. Then in the middle of that super hectic day, I added on a new project.
So, where were you, Somali, on that day?
Okay, so it was my first job and I met Swathi ma'am for the first time. First day, first job, and in the morning I went to the office and Swathi ma'am was really nice and she introduced me with the other colleagues also.
First day, first job. That's one hell of a start for the job. So, were you there because she said it was a very stressful day? I mean, what did you notice?
I went in the office and there is a project going on and lots of pressure is there for the project and Swathi ma'am is kind of handling the project.
So, did you notice any difference in the morning when Swathi had come up for work? And prior to the point of her having a stroke, did you notice any other changes in her?
So yes, she was feeling uneasy and then she was telling me that she wanted to puke. Then she went to washroom and then she came back. She told me she is feeling better, but she was not looking better for me. And then she was saying her one of the leg is numb. And then she started messaging someone from her mobile.
Rohit, did you ever see anybody else in your life face something similar?
Actually, yes, my ex-girlfriend. But yeah, it was something like that. But then she's fine now.
Okay, now I get it. You were a great first responder for Swathi. I know it's not great for someone to go through this, but since you actually had some kind of intuition, so I guess what was the next step that you took once she said she was feeling her leg was numb?
Then actually, when it happened with my ex-girlfriend, I was not sure also what to do, because when you are having fever, you know what to do. When you are having somewhere pain, you know what to do. But in this kind of situation, I also don't know what to do. I was just telling here and there to other my colleagues like this is happening.
So, what was the next step that you've taken? Did you gather people around you to ask? Or what happened next?
Actually, I was like finding a water for her. Then I was asking my colleagues what should we do, and then we talked with our boss. Then he asked us to get the lemon soda for
Okay.
her. So if she will feel better.
So, Somali, were you there actually when it happened?
Actually, I was walking upstairs and suddenly a boy came and he told me that Swathi ma'am is feeling uneasy. And in that time, I was the only woman in the office. So I need to go there. And I went there. Lots of people are there. So they were taking care of her. And there was noise. And they were trying to figure it out.
Oh no, Somali, that must have been a very scary experience for you. Moving on to you, Harsha. Were you in the same area where this happened, or were you somewhere else?
On day there was some preparation was happening. I stepped outside, and all of a sudden I got a call after some time. Why don't you come down immediately?
Oh, yeah. You weren't there initially. Yeah, I remember now.
Rohit, who got in touch with her family and shared this?
Actually, she was texting her father.
So, she was already connected then. How did you guys take her to the hospital?
Our boss called in for his car, and then we got her on one of those office chairs and wheeled her to the car, helped her get in, and then Harsha left with her to the hospital.
Harsha, when did you reach the place where Swathi was?
One of our colleague called me, and other colleague kept the vehicle. Then immediately I saw that the leg portion was numb. And on that day, she feeling a little bit stressed.
What was her face expression at that time?
Of course, there was a lot of people on that day because we were preparing for something big, and then we were trying to get her in the car, and of course she must be feeling embarrassed because a lot of people, but yeah, she is brave. And then she was laughing as well. Then yeah, she got into the car.
Of course, it was embarrassing. I mean, I was being wheeled in 2 chairs all the way to the car, and I started actually laughing at myself.
Actually, when I saw her condition, I thought of just taking to one of my known hospital where my colleagues works, and I have a very good doctors. But like she was telling that I want to just go to my regular hospital where my family doctor is there and my parents will come from there. Then I told her it's okay because it looks like she was talking, but she was feeling very uneasy on the leg part and numbness. Immediately we rushed to the family hospital only.
Harsha, you said she was speaking with you. Did you find any numbness in the way she spoke to you? How was her demeanor?
No. There was a little bit stress and she's a little bit scary. But once we started that we are going towards to their regular hospital, our father also just coming from home to the same hospital. In between, he was trying to guide me how was her BP and what is that, and she's sleeping and she's talking. Try to talk to her. Then everything was in normal condition. It's not like a complete panic. Initially when getting into the car was little bit there. Then once when we are going towards to there as requested, automatically everything was clear.
Somali, have you ever come across this kind of a situation?
No. It is very first experience.
Did you share this with any of your family? Like what happened on the first day?
Yeah, obviously, because in the morning Swathi told me that I came from a very different state, so the weather is different, the food habit is different, you should take care of yourself. And in the evening this thing happened, so I was not sure what to do and I was in a confusion.
Of course she did. She must have told the whole world. Listen, if I was in her place, this would have been the butt of all jokes for a very, very long time.
Harsha, were you there with Swathi in the hospital till her parents had arrived? And also, did you say beyond?
Even more because her relations came, parents came. I was there because her father was older and mother was like sitting, and she was like little bit panic. Babu, you stay here, you take care. And she was worried because no one knows it's going to happen. No. At the same time, I was accompanying her father also towards the doctor because I was analyzing what's happening. And I am checking with one of my colleagues also. Immediately they told that they have to go with a scanning MRI because she was having a rod in the leg that took little bit late because to MRI thing it will going to attract. And immediately father told it's 20 years before. Now it's not going to affect. I think we'll go with all regular procedures.
So was she awake during all of this?
Yeah. Because she was awake and her father also telling, don't worry, better, don't think much. They were just going through process.
Harsha, after the first day you were with her, did you ever go meet her again?
Basically, I was in constantly touch with her father. He was explaining about the progressing happening and how it's happening. And apart from almost my colleagues and everyone used to go there, we get the information. Because we know the complete status and out of danger. Why to disturb all these people?
Actually, yeah. Harsha did so much more for me and my parents that day. So, yeah, I never even asked him actually. Why didn't he come later? I think I'll forever be thankful for, everything he did that day.
Somali, did you also go to the hospital to check on Swathi?
Yeah, after a week, I went to see her with my colleague, and she was fine at the time. She was very relaxed.
So Rohit, after she was hospitalized, were you given updates frequently, and when was the first time you went and met her?
So yes, I was getting updates from my colleagues, and then me and one of my another colleague planned to visit her and see her how is she doing. And that time I think she already came out of ICU. And then we went and then we were talking about all the scenarios from that what happened on that 1st of March, how we helped her to get into the car and all. And then we were talking and taking selfies and all, and then planning when she is going to come back to office.
Nice. I just wanted to also know, when you went to the hospital to meet her, did she recognize you?
Yes, we actually did wonder about it on the way to the hospital, since this was something related to the brain. We were fearing if she would be able to recognize her, but when we reached there and met her, she did. Thankfully, there was no issue like that.
So Rohit, how many days was Swathi out of office?
I guess almost around 1 month.
And how was that 1 month in the office without Swathi?
Yeah, I bet it was peaceful for them that I wasn't around. But I just decided to believe that they were missing me. Also, I remember saying hi to them all the time through CCTV camera setups. Almost every day actually, those days.
Yeah, that 1 month it was peaceful, and in terms of the project also, as there was nothing much is going on, so it was good.
When did she come back? On what day?
After 1 month, I remember the day exactly, I'm not sure. But I remember when she came back, we welcomed her with the flowers and we were taking the group photos and all.
Oh, don't forget that fruit basket, the big one. Actually, I think it was my boss's idea to ensure to get fruits instead of chocolates since it was a health precaution.
So what major changes you've seen when she walked into the office?
So when we saw her first, we noticed she had a cane with her to support her for walking. We realized she was still in recovery phase, so it took her few months to start walking without the cane.
Okay, so day one might have been awesome. But tell me, as the days and weeks passed by, okay, how was she at the workplace, and was she able to get back to her normalcy?
Actually, there were times when Swathi looked unstable, or you can say off balance, but we also recognized that this was her recovery phase. It was not easy for her, and we were worried too, but we were also trying to understand what was happening. But we sailed past it soon as the months went by.
After Swathi got back, did you see or notice any changes in the way she spoke with you, or was she doing things slowly? And could you add more on that?
So before that day, I didn't know her, but after she came, she was taking care of herself really well, because she need to take medicine on time, and she need to eat on time, and she need to watch her food also, what she is eating. So yeah, she's always carrying her bag with her, because she always needs her medicines on time and properly on time.
I wanted to ask one more question. Did she ask you for any kind of help? Like, for example, if you had to go to the washroom or if she had to go to a meeting?
Yeah, sometimes she needs some help because of the leg situation and also the uneasy thing. So yeah, in the washroom, sometimes she needs some support to walk or to go somewhere.
Harsha, what was your first impression when you saw her back at work?
Yeah, I asked a couple of things, because she was carrying the stick and doctor insisted so and so, and she was slowly walking. I told that if required you can take more also. And then she told that like we're almost done, but they were telling to not to give a complete load on the leg part, and because she's going under medication, no. But I did not notice that much, because I think it's a regular normal. So we can't see the people in a different way, because they are regular only. It was the incident happened in the middle and it went off. If we given a different sympathetic, they will go down. We should encourage, because it came in the middle, it went off. It's a passing clouds.
That's a very important point, Harsha, that you shared. People just go down just because they had some health issue, but if you give them positive energy, they will get back faster. And I think this is a very good point that you've shared. So Harsha, after she got back to work, did you actually doubt whether she'd be able to take that level of stress or that level of work? And second thing, were you actually a bit doubtful, like will she be able to work at the same level that she was working previously?
I don't have any doubt, because basically, frankly speaking, during that period, we are not working together, because I was taking some other operations. At the same time, I was regularly watching, I was talking to her, and she also openly she'll come down. But I never had a doubt that she can work out as previously, like the before and after. I do not have any doubt. She was working fine.
That's really nice. And I'm pretty sure the support given by all your team members and all your colleagues, it must have been a very positive thing for her to recover faster. And she did share that she did have a couple of other episodes as well. Okay, so it's been almost 2 years since she had this episode. So how is she today? I mean, what do you find any difference in her?
Nothing different. She's good, and she's but only thing, I can see a difference in a walking style. Apart from that, everything is perfectly right.
Somali, did you know Swathi also had an epileptic episode during her childhood? And did she have any post her stroke?
Yeah, because one time we are having lunch after she came back after 1 or 2 weeks. We are eating lunch and suddenly she was like, I need to go to the hospital. I feel some uneasy thing and my hand is getting numb and I need to go to the hospital. So she was panicking and she took her bag and ran to the hospital.
Well, actually, I remember this day. It started with small tremors passing from my hand to my face, and that led me to running to the hospital.
Rohit, did you also notice this about Swathi?
Yes, a few months after the stroke, one day suddenly she complained of some traveling numbness in her hands and face, and she looked very uncomfortable and left for the hospital almost immediately.
We will come back to you, Swathi, on these post-stroke epileptic attacks in our future episodes. But tell me, guys, over the past 2 years, have you seen any change in the way she walks? Does she still use the cane? And how does she use it? I mean, does she have to use it 365 days?
Earlier, for almost 6 months or more, she was using the cane, but now she doesn't use it.
And how about in the rainy season?
In the rainy season also, she really need that cane to walk.
Yeah, so that I don't slip and fall because of my paralyzed leg. The numbness lingered on, so I was a lot more off balance those days. Also, why should I need to be heroic if I don't need to?
So it's been 2 years now. So Somali, have you seen her getting back to her normal way of walking?
Yeah, now she can walk properly. She does not need the cane anymore.
Wait till the rainy season comes.
Did Swathi ever ask you to purchase any medicines? But does she carry all her medicines, extra medicines as well?
Yeah, she always carries her drugs, like always. Every time, everywhere, always.
Drugs? She's making me sound like an addict.
Rohit, did you also see her taking drugs? No, I mean, did you also see her having her medication? I mean, was she taking her medications and you've noticed that? And did you also know what kind of medicines was she taking?
Well, I don't know much about the medication she has been taking. Earlier she was taking in front of us. Now looks like she is taking at home. During lunch also nothing. During work, if her sugar drops, we will just get some chocolates for her. That's it.
So on the whole, you did notice some difference in the way Swathi would work, Swathi would talk to you people, the way her everyday life. Could you just tell me on the whole, how did it change?
Other than the fact that she sometimes used the cane and now she has an odd walk, nothing else has changed.
Okay. So after that, in the past 2 years, did she ever have such epileptic attack?
I don't think so, but at least not in front of us. And I also hope for our sake and hers that she doesn't have these attacks again.
Well, I really want to thank all three of you for two reasons. First, for helping out Swathi on the spot on that day. And secondly, coming to our podcast and sharing what all has happened.
Yeah, thanks everybody for making time.
So now, let's talk to somebody else as well. Suhasini, who is Swathi's very dear friend. And she was there with her in the HDU, the room, and also after she got discharged from the hospital. Hello Suhasini, I am Rohit, the other side of the coin of Rewired. How are you?
Hi Rohit, I'm good and thank you for inviting me to this episode of Rewired. I hope you're doing good as well.
How long have you known Swathi and where did you guys meet first?
I've known Swathi for more than 25 years, I think. I think it must be much more than that. And we first met in Bombay. That was my first trip to Bombay. She was a common friend with my cousins and that's how I met her. And since then, I think we've stayed in touch. When I first met her, I just thought that she's a real fun girl, very bindas, and we really hit it off. And over the years, I think we just got drawn towards each other. In fact, we've also stayed together in multiple cities in the country, and it's almost like we followed each other. Like if I shifted cities, then she would be there within a year or 6 months, and if she shifted cities, then I would be there. And this was not really by design, just kept on happening. In fact, I'm in Delhi, and before Hyderabad, Swathi was in Delhi as well. So I mean, we've just been together for a very long time, and it's just been a great journey, and it's great fun.
That is nice to hear. So tell me, where were you when you heard the news that Swathi had a stroke?
So I got a call one evening from Swathi, and I heard her scared and in tears on the other end. And I was like, what's happening in my head? And she said, Suhasini, I've got a stroke and I'm in the hospital and I, have to go through these MRIs and, I'm very scared. And I was in shock because I didn't know how to comprehend this information. And then her father took over and he just said that, Beta, you just come. And my only reaction and immediate response was, yes, I'm coming, uncle. And that's what I told Swathi. I said, you don't worry. You're in good hands right now and I'm going to be there next time when you open your eyes. So don't worry, just relax.
And what was your first reaction when you heard?
So my immediate reaction was that I just have to be there. I just have to reach there somehow as quickly as possible. So I checked the next flight and I booked myself in, and I think the same night or the next morning I was there. The visiting hours were in the evening, so we had to wait. And then in the evening I went and met her in the hospital. She was in the HDU.
Did you know about her past health history?
I've always known about Swathi's medical history and we both knew, but the stroke was something that was unfathomable. I mean, nobody ever thinks you'll get a stroke, and there was no history like that, and nobody ever heard of it. So yeah, when the stroke happened, it was a real shock actually, and a big surprise.
Suhasini, how did you feel when you saw her at the hospital? What was your initial reaction?
I met Swathi in the evening during the visiting hours, and she was in the HDU at that time. She stayed there for another 2 days before she was moved into her room. And when I met her for the first time, this was the first time that I was seeing her after the stroke. My first feeling, my only feeling actually initially, when I saw her over there was relief. I was so relieved that she was fine. She could recognize me, she could talk, she was conscious, she knew what was happening around her. Yes, she had paralysis in one leg, temporary paralysis. One of her hands was, also frozen, or it wouldn't move beyond a point. But she was okay. She could talk very slowly, but she could. And very good thing was that she was aware of what was happening around her. So once I saw her and I saw all of that, I just knew that she's going to be fine. Like she had received the initial medical attention that was so crucial, and she's going to be fine. I think when we met for the first time after her stroke in that HDU, it was not just relief for me. I think it was relief for her as well. It was almost like a reinforcement for her as well that now she'll be okay. She's got more support, she's got more strength. And I could see that in her face. It was almost like she breathed a little easy. And I just knew I had to be there. And I just had to be there and support and make sure that she was up on her feet. And that was the only thing in my head.
Swathi did mention that you were there with her parents for 10 days. I would like to know whatever you could recollect about how her parents were feeling, what all they went through.
During Swathi's whole episode, and I was there for the initial, 10-15 days, her parents had been like real troopers. It must have been a great shock for them as well. But they just rallied around her constantly. Auntie was not the most well person. She had to walk with the aid of a stick, but she made sure that she was there for Swathi, and she went and visited her almost every day. Uncle was there 24/7. It was very difficult to, tell him that I'll take over and you relax and I'll be in the hospital. He just wanted to be there with his daughter. I think he must have spoken to everyone possible to understand what exactly is happening with her and how will this get better and it is going to happen in the future and all those things.
Could you tell us a little bit about what you think they might have been going through? And I think they must have been under a lot of stress.
So in the time that I was there, I could see the stress and the anxiety that uncle and auntie were going through. They didn't really show it so much, but definitely it was there. It was something that had happened to their young daughter out of the blue, and nobody expected that Swathi would have a brain stroke on a very regular work day. They were exhausted as well with all the running around and figuring out how things will get done, because there wasn't really anybody to do all that. So I think when I landed up there, it was a little bit of a help, whatever little it was. They were also happy that I was there, not just for themselves, but I think more for Swathi, because they were like, okay, now, she has someone who's there and someone who's a moral support, and, they put their faith in me, and they knew that I'll be there for her. So I think that was a great help for them. But yes, it was very stressful for them as well. Not knowing, what's going to happen, how the recovery will take place. And uncle was so positive, I must say. He used to keep telling Swathi that don't worry, just keep doing these exercises and it will get fine. I have spoken to X person and this person has said that, 15 days you just make her do and she'll be perfectly fine. So he kept boosting her confidence and he was constantly doing that. And she had to do, after a point, she had to do some exercises and stuff, and they made sure, he made sure.
So they were a huge support system for her. And with you being around, it would have given them so much additional support.
It's when things like this happen and you see older parents running around alone, you realize the importance of a support system, be it in the form of friends or family. It's really important to have a support system who can help, who can be there, because these are tough times. It's not easy. It's physically draining, emotionally draining, mentally draining, and it's good to have, a helping hand.
During the time in the hospital, did Swathi ever show the fear of what's going to happen next?
Yes, there was fear, there was anxiety. Swathi was very anxious, fearful, what's going to happen? Will I ever get better? Will I ever be able to walk again? And these are very real fears because you really don't know what's going to happen. And definitely, there was conversation about this. We did talk about this time and again. We did visit it time and again. And slowly, the fears got, less and less. The anxiety got less and less as and when she progressed in health, as and when, there was a milestone that you crossed, like getting up from the bed, then managing to sit on the chair, actually standing up, walking, taking few steps, walking just for about 10 meters, then 20, then 50. So by and by, as health progressed, the fears did diminish, but definitely there was a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of fear. And this was something that was not just restricted till the hospital. It did carry on even after we returned home.
Or something to the extent of how life is going to change? Or you guys took it by the day?
Surely we did talk about the fact that things will change, and we knew they will change. We knew things will not be the same again. We knew that health will have to become a priority. We knew that lifestyle changes will have to be done. Till what extent, we still didn't know. But we definitely knew that changes are going to happen and life is not going to be the same again.
How was Swathi in the HDU? And what are the changes you mentioned when she was shifted to the room?
Well, when I saw Swathi in the HDU, she wasn't very mobile, of course. Her movements of the limbs were somewhat restricted because of the temporary paralysis. And everything was slower. Processing was slower. The way she was talking was a little slower. But she was all there. She was aware, she was conscious. And these were great positives because it showed that, her brain was working. She could comprehend things. She could make sense of everything. So that was great. Everything else was, of course, the initial shock to the system, and it would take time for the body to recover as well as the brain. But yeah, everything was just slower. It was just slow.
How was she dealing with all of this? She mentioned about breaking down and also facing humiliation in HDU. Were you also privy to all of this? Did this happen later in the room as well?
Being in a hospital, especially after an episode like a brain stroke, where you're rendered immobile, at least for a time being, can be a very humbling as well as a bit of a humiliating experience, because you're at the mercy of others all the time. Be it to go to the washroom, be it to just get a tissue passed to you, be it to drink water. You have to keep calling people all the time, be it to just prop up your pillow, or you're feeling discomfort and you need the sheet to be removed. Anything at all. It's you feel quite helpless. And when we shifted Swathi to the room, when she came back to the room, I think those were the initial feelings, or those were the initial thoughts that went through her brain as well. And she was dependent for everything on others. And constantly one of us had to be there as an attendant, because she had to be moved, and the pillows had to be propped. And I think as a caretaker, it's very important to understand that the person who's suffering, or the person who's gone through something like this, will need this kind of care. And they're already feeling bad about being dependent, and they're already feeling so helpless. So one shouldn't aggravate that situation. You should try to be as understanding as possible and normalize it. And because I think that helps in the recovery, that helps them to not feel mentally stressed. And I think that was just the aim of all of us who were there around her, that this is very normal and it's okay, and it's just a temporary thing. And it's not in your control. That's the biggest thing. You're not doing this because you want to do it. It's something that's not in your control right now, and work on it and it'll get fine. So it's just a temporary phase.
How were the days when she was in the hospital room? And when could she move her right leg again? And what all did she have to relearn?
Once Swathi was back in the room, of course, initially she couldn't move from the bed. Movement was little slow to come. But the doctor was pretty adamant that, you have to start moving your leg. And the feeling started coming back. She could start feeling things in her legs, in her hands, which was a big hurrah. It was absolutely fantastic, because that meant that she was on her way to recovery. And so once that was back, then the doctor immediately said, okay, now you need to stand. And he made her stand. And after that, we had to do that every day, which was a task, of course, because it was painful. It was not easy. And she was also ginger. It was almost like she was learning how to walk all over again, because she had almost lost the feeling in one leg for a while. So to reacquaint herself with that leg was a task. And then to sit on a table again, to hold a spoon again, to feed herself again, she had to almost make herself learn it all over again. And that's what we did in that room. It was slow, and we had to be at it. It was tiring, but we did it. And it was something she had to do. And every day it was a task, when she was finally able to get off the bed, that she will sit on the chair for a while. She will not keep lying on the bed. And we did that in the hospital.
Did you see any major impact or change in her at the hospital?
I think the one main thing I realized in the hospital, once she was back in her room and she could stand and she was supposed to start walking, was that her sense of balance had gone off. So she had to learn how to get that sense of balance again, and more than learn, she had to become confident about it again. How we walk so easily on our two legs, we can balance our bodies. For her, it was a huge thing. It was not easy because she used to always feel that she's going to fall. So, to regain that sense of confidence and that sense of balance, that is something that was a big change, a big, big change.
And yeah, the most important question public wants to know. I heard that you both discuss a lot about serials. Is it true?
So, yes, so one of the reasons why Swathi and I have been such great friends for more than 2 decades is our love and passion for cinema, animation, serials. I mean, we just love it. We adore it. When we used to be in Bombay together, we used to watch, movies back to back, 3 movies, 4 movies. We used to just keep sitting in the theater and watching films back to back. So we love it. Even today, we see things, we discuss them at length. I mean, we just love, the cinema and serials and animation. So that's our common passion and love. And of course, when you're in the hospital, how long can you talk about, oh, this happened and oh, that happened and, the situation and medication and, well, that all keeps happening, right? But what is the other thing in life to do? It's to talk about your passion, it's to talk about your love. And of course, I had to get her up to date on all the serials and what else is happening. And once she was up and about, please let me tell you, between all these things that were happening, once she was up and about and she knew that she could walk around or she could sit up, our serials were back on track and we were watching them happily every day and discussing at length all the characters and what's going to happen next. Of course, it's very important and it's a part of life and it's a part of our being, so how can that be missed?
Suhasini, in the previous episode, Swathi also mentioned that you took care of her dog, Biga, and also I can hear a cat in your background. You guys are pretty pet friendly, right?
Swathi has a pet beagle. She's 13 years old now. Her name is Biga. And when she was in the hospital, then Biga was at home, of course. So when I was there, I was looking after her because Swathi was not back home as yet. That's my cat. I have 2 cats. Well, sorry for that. So Biga she was an angel actually, because have known each other for a while. She stayed with me earlier as well. Swathi has left her with me. So there was familiarity and she knew me. So definitely it wasn't like a initiation or anything like that. But yeah, Biga followed me around. She did realize that Swathi is not there and missing from the house. So she did follow me around. She was in the same room when we were sleeping, and definitely felt that there is some change. I think animals and especially pets are very sensitive to these kind of things. So I was taking care of her and she was going about her usual stuff. But I think she definitely did miss Swathi.
Suhasini, in such moments, we come across certain embarrassing, certain funny, and some astonishing moments, right? So did you notice any of that with Swathi, whether when she was at the hospital or at home?
Well, 2 things come to my mind. The first one is, actually it was very awkward in the beginning. It became funny later. The day Swathi was to be discharged, the canola on her hand had to be changed. That needle they put in through which they give the IV. That needed to be changed because it was paining her and it was swelling up her hand and giving her a little fever and all that. So that needed to be changed. And the nurse came in and she said, okay, we need to change this. And then of course there was this whole thing of finding the vein. Another one, a new one of course. So then the vein was looked for. It was looked in the same hand and then in the other hand, and then we couldn't find it there. So they went up a little and looked at the arm and they couldn't find it there. And then they went up further and tried looking in the elbow and where we do the blood test from that area. And ultimately they basically just couldn't find another vein to put a new canola in. And the funny part was that nobody could find it. So there was nurse number 1 which came, and then nurse number 2 which came, and then there was the head nurse which came. And then finally the call was taken that, you know what, it's fine. Anyways, you're going to be discharged today, so let's just dunk this and we'll give you the medication orally, so it's okay. And, initially it was like, find the vein. And then after a point, it was just funny that, we're not able to find that vein. And the second one, which I remember, which I found actually a little astonishing as well, is that Swathi just adored, and I think she still does, adores the food of that hospital. She just finds it so tasty. She's like, itna acha khana hai yaar. The khana is like really good. The food is really good. And I was like, but dude, this is hospital food. But she used to love it. And it used to amaze me that how she's finding this hospital food so good. And she still remembers it. And she still goes back for checkup over there only because her doctors are there. So whenever she goes, it's like, I'm going to eat hospital food today. So that part, is a little funny.
Okay, Suhasini, let me get this straight. To find the vein, it went in vain, right? So all the experience of the head nurse and both the nurses was of no use. So even their experience went in vain. Let's put it that way. And secondly, maybe I think Swathi would be somebody who would actually now start a small app wherein, where do you get the best food in a hospital? Is that what she's trying to tell you? Well, let me also just go and check out how the food is. Because I'm a connoisseur of food, And it's also surprising that Swathi has lived in Mumbai with you. She's lived in Delhi with you. Some of the places where you get some really good food. And she doesn't eat biryani in Hyderabad, but she likes food in a hospital. So we need to take her to a place wherein she actually finds some good food. Let's catch up when you come to Hyderabad and let's go and check out that food.
Well, Rohit, I do like food a lot and I'm very picky. But unfortunately, biryani doesn't cut it for me. But that food at that hospital, I can still remember how good it was. I'll take you there one day. We'll have a picnic.
Thank you, Suhasini, for coming and sharing so much about Swathi, which most of us would never have known. I really felt great to listen to you about Swathi, and we hope to hear from you more in the coming episodes.
Yes, thank you all for coming in spite of your busy schedules, and to tell us what you saw. And it was, I guess, even now I feel that it was quite harrowing. Thank you so much, Suhi. It was great to hear from you. Thank you all. Thank you. And also, thank you to all our listeners for hearing us out so patiently from all over the world. And as we mentioned before, we hope to have you also one day participate with us and take this initiative forward. We want you to know that having a brain stroke is anywhere crossing between not okay to okay, and to talk about it is okay. And yes, it does compromise our situations and holds us back in some way or the other, but it does not make us in any way different from anyone else. We just need to change our perspective and find our own ways and our own new normals. In the next episode, we'll step into the world of rehabilitation. So till then, keep listening and be safe. We are Rewired, and this is not a race.